And there's the roar in Warsaw's National Stadium as the match begins and the Czechs play it back in front of their own penalty area. So the Czech side in full, goalkeeper Petr Cech, at the back Gebri Selassie, Sivok, Kadlec and Limberski, then Hubschmann and Plasil, the holding players. Derrida will play in the Rosicki role, Juracek on the right, Pilaš on the left and Barros up front. And the Portuguese team with Rui Patricio in goal, João Pereira, Bruno Alves, Pepe and Fabio Coentrão are the back four, Raul Morales, Miguel Veloso and João Moutinho, and then Nani, Ronaldo and Helder Postiga through the middle. And now Cristiano Ronaldo is on the ball for the first time, but Gebri Selassie immediately gets a little touch in to poke it out for a throw on this left-hand side as Portugal play from right to left in the first half, and the throw-in is taken by Coentrão. And then it's sent forward by Pepe, but through into the secure hands of Petr Cech, all in lilac tonight. The Czech goalkeeper who launches it, absolutely launches it downfield for Barros, who catches up with it near the corner of the penalty area and then gives it off to Derrida, who plays it square. Now it's nodded into the penalty area by Plasil. Derrida continues his run and wins a corner.
Really looking forward to watching this lad, because he's the third choice really. Kolar obviously was given the opportunity once Rosicki got injured, but he's a youngster, he'll be desperate to make an impression. You know what? First touches were very good. Very good.
21 years old, number 22 on his back. The corner's taken short, driven in towards the back post. Sivok, the central defender there, but he couldn't reach it. Fabio Coentrão was with him, and it's through for a goal kick. So Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0, and Rui Patricio takes the goal kick in a 6-yard box, which is actually quite warm.
Yeah, it is.
Which is very strange to see. I know that there has been some criticism of this pitch, and there was actually a rumour going round, which I don't think is true, that UEFA sneaked in, or had their people sneak in during the night this week and replace the pitch, but I'm fairly sure that's not the case, because it is a little patchy and almost bumpy looking in places. Here's Juracek on the right hand side, the shaggy haired Juracek with the beard. Actually, a number of the Czechs have beards because of this superstition in the squad, not to shave at the tournament. The ball goes all the way back to central defender Kadlec, who helps it forward but only onto the chest of Pepe. And then a foul on the halfway line on João Pereira, the right back, and a free kick to Portugal just inside their own half.
A tricky thing just happened there. I mean, watching Gebri Selassie went forward from the right back area. Juracek went with him as well. Ronaldo did not bother to track back, and it was really surprising to see, we'll just let him go. No, he's just arguably the best player in the world, but almost certainly the second best player in the world. We'll just leave him. I was really surprised by that. That's either really brave or a bit stupid.
Well, time will tell, Pat, won't it? Which it is. Here's Gebri Selassie down in the right back position. Looks up, picks out the pass to Derrida on the halfway line, but he loses out to Veloso, and the Portuguese number 4 gets the ball down, but then in comes the challenge from Plasil to win it back. Plasil, the Bordeaux captain, one of the more experienced heads in this Czech side, with his headband on his fair hair. And now Hubschmann, Plasil's defensive partner in central midfield. Again, Hubschmann drops halfway inside his own half and turns and passes it towards little Pilaš on the left hand side. Derrida comes in and exchanges passes with him, and now Pilaš, 2 goals at the tournament so far, gives it infield towards Plasil. Then the ball from halfway from Hubschmann doesn't reach Juracek and is out for a throw to Portugal on a level with the edge of their own penalty area. That was promising enough from the Czechs.
Do you know what? There's a real confidence, a real swagger about them at the beginning of this game. Something that we haven't seen a great deal of, the Czechs. So they are growing into the tournament, there's no doubt about that. And I think what Patrick Berger was saying, to us before the game, there's no pressure. They've done enough. They're going to almost come back as heroes already. So, shot to nothing. Go and enjoy yourself and do your best.
Yep,
try and get to the semi-final.
Very much. Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0. And of course the expectation will have increased on Portugal because of the way that they came from behind to beat the Dutch in such thrilling style. The winners of this quarter-final will play the winners of the Spain-France quarter-final on Saturday night. The semi will be in Donetsk next Wednesday. So if it's Hubschmann, the Czech midfielder, he'll be playing on his home ground, Shakhtar Donetsk player. Gebri Selassie with a throw-in for the Czech Republic near the halfway line. Neither goalkeeper yet has had to make a save in the game, with exactly 5 minutes played.
Do you know one other thing? We talk a lot about Howard Webb. I think he's had a great tournament so far. But is it maybe 8 or 9 players who are on yellow cards just now that are starting the game? Now, I think it's a bit of a joke that any one of those players could miss out in the semi-final because it's so easy to get booked now. Now, we're not talking about it early on, but I am so delighted it's Howard Webb who doesn't give out silly cards like some of the other referees have done in this tournament so far. With a bit of luck, they'll all get through unscathed.
Yes, it's his 3rd match, Howard Webb, and so far he's only shown 3 yellow cards. The players who are on yellows for the Czechs, Limberski, Plasil and Juracek, and the 5 Portuguese players in the starting lineup who are 1 yellow card away from a suspension: Coentrão, Ronaldo, Morelos, João Pereira and Helder Postiga.
And that's the danger you get as you're a co-commentator and you say he doesn't give out many yellow cards, and the guy sitting beside you's got all the stats. You could have said Howard Webb's given out 8 by now, 10 by now. I wouldn't have known any better, but delighted that he's been very sensible all the way through and no real big headers.
Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0, here on BBC 5 Live with Pilaš away down the left-hand side. And there's Derrida again at close quarters. He's made himself available whenever Pilaš has been on the ball in the early stages. But the Portuguese win it back, but then it's won back by Derrida. And Pilaš now to Juracek. And Juracek with a shot that takes a deflection and loops wide of the near post and behind for another Czech corner.
He's a player you can't help liking, Juracek, because he is all action, he is continually running, and it's not just for the 90 minutes. In the build-up to the game for about 45 minutes beforehand, he just does laps of the park, he battles around, and I think that's the reason why he tires in the last 10 minutes of the game. This could go to extra time, save it a bit, mate.
Plasil with the corner, Plasil takes it back. And it's played square. Derrida, middle of the Portuguese half. Derrida now, via a deflection towards the edge of the penalty area, cleared away by Bruno Alves. Portugal could be away on the break here. The ball is played out for Ronaldo, and he's angry as the ball runs out of play for a throw. Angry and frustrated. In a reaction, he sort of skipped into the air as he was running towards the touchline here.
The reason why he was frustrated is because once again Gabriel Selassie had gone 10 yards beyond him. He was free, he was running at the right centre back.
Morelos very nearly played it over the top of Gabriel Selassie for Ronaldo, who would have been away.
There are chances. Right at the start, you notice that Gabriel Selassie's not just sitting there thinking, OK, I've got him, I'll stick with him, I'll put pressure on him and not worry about going forward. That's not the way Gabriel Selassie's thinking about it. He wants to do his own thing.
Well, now we've got Fabio Coentrão available on this left-hand side. Gabriel Selassie has gone infield with Ronaldo, and Fabio Coentrão has as much space as you could possibly want on the left flank. Instead, it goes out to the right, and João Pereira now gives it back. Nani's ball across is cleared away just inside the penalty area. It comes out for a ball that is intercepted on the edge of the area by Plasil, and the Czechs should clear, which they do, through Pilaš. And this is for Barros to chase, but he loses out, just muscled off the ball really. And the free kick is actually given by Howard Webb for the challenge by Barros on Pepe. Free kick taken by Portugal, and they move forward again. And this pass is overhit for Fabio Coentrão from centre field from Moutinho, straight out of play for a throw. Haven't got going yet, Portugal.
No, they haven't done. I think they're trying to get out to the left here, but they've got a couple of good players up against them. But I think eventually opportunities will develop there, because it is a little bit too open for me. If I was a Czech Republic supporter, I'd be thinking, well, yeah, we're having a go for it, but now and again keep an eye on the defending. But once again, I like the confidence about him. I like the bravery of wanting to get on the ball. And the youngster Derrida, he wants to get on the ball every time he gets it, and it's sometimes that sort of youth, it's great to see that sort of youth is fearless, and it's lovely to see.
Yeah, well, I've already been more impressed with Derrida in the almost 10 minutes we've had of this game than I was in Kolář in the whole of the game against Poland the other evening.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Ball is out and behind for a goal kick to the Czechs. Just a little bit of something between Nani and Limberski, the Czech left back.
Well, dragged down, I think, by Nani, but not much in it.
They just sort of squared up, but it's the Dutch assistant on that far side who just stepped in and calmed it all down.
I'll try and put this politely. The Portuguese have a number of players who, shall we say, go down rather easily, throw themselves about. I think they'll try that with the wrong man today. I don't think Howard will put up with it, and I don't think he'll fall for it. And because of that, I think we'll get a better game.
And in the interest of balance, of course, Pat, as you well know as a Scotsman.
Don't say the word Rezek to me. Do not say that word Rezek.
I'm sure we'll see him a little bit later on, and you'll be able to vent your spleen properly. You probably already have at this tournament. Ball's played over the top for Portugal for the run of Raul Morales into the penalty area, and it's hooked out of play next to the corner flag. I thought it was a throw. It is a corner.
Suffice to say, we're not talking about Rezek too much, but if he misses the penalty that sends the Czech Republic out, I won't be devastated.
Morales to take this corner. Portugal's first from the left-hand side. Drifts it in towards the back post, and it's headed away. An unchallenged header away out towards this side of the field, where it is caught up with by Veloso, who wins a throw-in. And the Czech supporters down below us are taking part in the first Mexican wave of the evening, which begins to sweep its way around the stadium. And the Portuguese have the throw. Coentrão nutmegs Hubschmann, still going. Juricek battling back against him, has to give it to Nani, who's on this left hand side. Now to Coentrão again, who drags it back twice and then passes it at close quarters to Nani, right footed cross into the penalty area, and it's headed out for another corner.
And it's great to see Coentrão getting up that left hand side. It's something, since he's moved to Spain, he maybe hasn't done quite as much as he was doing when he was originally in Portugal, but great to see him play almost as a left winger most of the time.
Moutinho now gives it to Nani with the ball at his feet. Now it's back to Moutinho, shoots right footed straight at Czech, who is able to take the bouncing ball straight into his midriff.
I think he'll be delighted with that. I think Peter Cech will know as much as anyone else. He's had a few dodgy moments in this competition so far, so that one bouncing in front of him, goalkeepers usually don't like that, but that was pretty easy meat for Peter Cech. First real shot and goal, I would say.
First attempt, and it was straight at the Czech goalkeeper who made the save. So 0-0, BBC 5 Live, first of the quarter-finals. This time tomorrow you'll be able to hear Germany against Greece up in Gdansk. Ball played from inside the Czech half, but way ahead of Juricek and Derrida, so the Portuguese have the ball back halfway inside their territory. Portugal, who have never won one of the major international tournaments in World Cup or European Championship. But there was a time really where Portuguese football was sniffed at, you know, in my football watching memory. But now this is the 5th consecutive European Championship at which they've made it to the quarter-finals. And as Darren said before the game, I think you have to consider them as potential winners.
Yeah, I have to say I would agree with that. And even in, you know, European football, the Europa League, they've kind of bossed that competition for a while as well. So they have got teams who may not be like Real Madrid or may not be Barcelona, but they're very much over the next rank.
0-0 as the Czechs played away, or at least hoped to. Held up Postiga, tried to win it back, but it was won by Kadlec, who gave it to Gebre Selassie, and now Juricek is over the halfway line, overruns it. Bruno Alves came in. Gebre Selassie with a header to Juricek, and Sivok was almost caught on his heels there. Held up Postiga is rattling away at him, but he comes out with it, the Czech central defender, and gives it back to Peter Cech. So while the Portuguese are still looking for their first tournament victory, remember the Czechs back in their days as Czechoslovakia won this European Championship exactly 36 years ago yesterday, when Antonin Panenka chipped his famous dinked penalty down the middle to win the final.
The wonderful thing about that, of course, was the fact that I don't think anyone had ever thought about it before. Never mind tried it, never thought about it before.
Ball given away by Gebre Selassie, but Morales in, and as a result of the challenge, it just took it all the way through to Peter Cech.
Intriguing. Already the two wingers have switched. Darren Fletcher quickly pointing it out to me there in the background, but I'd noticed it at the same time. But yeah, they have switched. Just give Ronaldo a chance to run. And to be honest, not enough teams do that for me. You know, give the defenders something else to think about, a slightly different style.
Now then, Czechs coming forward with a run from Kadlec into the penalty area. Now Piloš with the cross, intercepted by Veloso in unhurried style. But a roam forward from Kadlec, the central defender, and now Plasil wins it back for the Czechs, but there's a touch that lets the move down by Piloš, and then Derrida with a pass that was intended for Plasil but was straight through for a throw-in to the Portuguese.
Well, he said in the first 3 or 4 minutes that the Portuguese hadn't really got into the stride yet. I tend to leave it a wee bit longer than that. 15 minutes, I'd agree with you. They're not into the stride, are they? you know, they are getting chased out of it. There's a pretty high tempo match. It's a cooler night tonight as well. The roof's on top here. I thought it would get a bit stuffy, but it isn't. It seems actually quite a nice night to play a game of football, so maybe the Czechs can keep this tempo up.
Ball played for Plasil to make a run down into the Portuguese right back area, but he slips at the crucial moment, and Portugal are able to clear it to Ronaldo, who loses possession. So that means the Czechs can come again with Hubschmann, and there's space for Plasil on the right, and Juracek now makes a run down into the full back area and struggles to keep it in. He did keep it in. He played it into the defender Bruno Alves, so it's a corner to the Czechs on the left.
It is interesting to watch Juracek. Half the time you don't know where he's playing, because you turn up at left wing, you turn up at kind of behind the striker a lot of time. He's supposedly playing sort of on the right wing here, but he's absolutely he's perpetual motion. I mean, I'd love to. You often see the figures of him, how much ground has been covered by most players. I mean, I'd love to see the figures of him at the end of this game.
He's a bit harum-scarum, isn't he?
Yeah.
Juracek, with his hair flying all over the place. Czech corner, Plasil plays it in, comes off the head of the defender, and that carries it right across. It was Ronaldo, you know, who was back in there. Goalkeeper came for it, Rui Patricio, but Ronaldo, whether there was a shout or not, got his head to it ahead of his goalkeeper's punch, and it's out for a throw on the right.
Yeah, he don't take a chance in those situations, and it just skidded off the top of his head.
Corner,
no real surprise with the amount of oil on it, but
good point. Corner from the right. Derrida takes it short to Plasil with his left foot. Plasil crosses deep towards the back post, headed away and cleared away now by on the edge of the penalty area for Ronaldo to chase, but he doesn't reach it, and it's played all the way back to Petr Cech at the other end. So 17 minutes played, it's still 0-0, barely a direct attempt on goal, but the Czechs more than holding their own in this game. Ronaldo still on the right flank. Now the ball with Pereira forward towards Morelos. Now down the right hand side again come Portugal, but the challenge wins it back for the Czechs. It was Pilash who was in there, and then Limberski belting it away high and aimlessly back into the Portuguese half to give them possession back.
Maybe part of the problem that's going to be for the Czechs, because when they do lose the ball, they do get everyone apart from Barish behind the ball right away, and then it's a lot of energy to get up and get a little bit of support from.
Oh, Juracek plays a nice ball into the space down the right flank. Derrida's onto it. Derrida's cross into the middle. Barros stretching. Thought there might have been a little nudge there from Pepe on Barros. He went down. He doesn't appeal to Howard Webb, and Portugal clear. Still 0-0. Juracek now near the corner of the area, head down, now he looks up. Juracek with a cross, takes a flick off the leg of the defender for a corner.
Once again, it was two players we've talked about more than anyone else from the Czech team, as Juracek plays a great ball to Derrida, and Derrida's pushed, brilliant ball just across the 6-yard line there, real class there, but was it maybe not that much.
Not enough from Pepe.
Yeah, Herbert's got that right.
And apparently a little bit of chatter between Pepe and Ronaldo. Darren Fletcher's just pointed out to us. A little bit of dissension in the ranks. 0-0. And a corner to the Czechs. Taken by Plasil towards the back post, where Sivok was stretching for it, but it was over the top of him as he was challenged, and it's out for a throw in the left back area. So it remains 0-0. And Coentrao will take this throw in. Fabio Coentrao, who Real Madrid paid £25 million for the left back.
Yeah, I have to say, having watched him over the last couple of years before he went there, I didn't think that was silly money.
Coentrao, long ball forward, it's headed back though very carefully and securely by Kadlec into the hands of Petr Cech, who gives it out underarm.
He's a left back come left midfield come left winger, and he's very good at bombing forward, as good as anyone in the game at the moment from left back area.
Now Bruno Alves lifts the ball over the top for Ronaldo. He's not got a teammate anywhere near him, goes for the cross though, flicks off the first defender on the edge of the penalty area and behind for another corner.
Did you notice the whistling there at Ronaldo as soon as he got the ball? That was a bit strange.
Well, unless it's the Czech supporters, of course, who are doing it.
It seemed like a hell of a lot in here, and as you say, there's maybe 6, 7, 8,000, but they'll be dotted around the stadium, and it is a full stadium tonight.
Yeah. Corner then for Portugal. It's been a corner fest so far, the first 19-20 minutes. This is Portugal's third against 5 for the Czechs. From the right hand side, Ronaldo slips over. I think he just slipped over there. Juracek was behind him, Ronaldo's complaining to Howard Webb and saying that he was pushed over by Juracek, and now Howard Webb is going to call Juracek away from the 6-yard box and makes it clear that if there was anything untoward, he has to cut it out. And he actually has a word with Ronaldo as well, as if to say, I'll do the refereeing, young man.
That's fallen right into Howard Webb's lap, that.
Corner for Portugal is utterly wasted. Absolutely awful. From the right hand side, swung across beyond everyone and out for a goal kick from Veloso.
Yeah, and going back to it, there always is going to be a little bit of pushing, some sort of physical contact in the box. Both of them were at it, there's no doubt about that. Juracek a little bit more, but it wasn't a great deal. But the referees just love to do that. Stop it and say, hey, I've got my eye on you, I've got an extra additional assistant down there, he's got his eye on you. He won't do anything, but he's got his eye on you.
Yeah, Mark Clattenburg is the man behind that goal. Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0. 5 Live on 5 Live and Sports Extra. We've been bringing you commentary on every game from every stadium at Euro 2012, and we'll continue that all the way to the final in Kiev, which is getting closer and closer. It's absolutely flown by, this tournament, with the way that it's been hosted and the games that we've seen, above all the football that's been so enjoyable to watch. 0-0. Helder Postiga loses it in centre field, and it's played forward by Sivok out towards Barros on the right hand side. Now Bilan Barros with Derrida in the middle. Barros is crossed towards the back post. Pilash is after it, but it's beyond him and out into the full back position, and he'll struggle to keep that in. He did keep it in, but in doing so he gave it away to João Pereira, and he fells him, and it's a free kick to Portugal in their own right back position.
Do you know, Milan Barros hasn't had a great effect in this tournament, and he's created one goal, I think, but really there's been long parts of the games where he just hasn't taken part. I've kept quite a close eye on him here. It's not through lack of effort. He is putting it in. The work rate is there. He's not got the pace maybe he once had, but you know, he's doing it for the team. He's doing as much as he can, but a lot of the time he is, 20 yards divorced from the rest of the team, and maybe that's kind of not helping him a lot. And certainly he's not as fit and as strong as he once was.
Yes,
I feel a wee bit sorry for him at this point in time.
Yes, I well remember watching and commentating on the game when the Portuguese were last in a quarter-final at Euro 2004, when he scored 2 of the goals in the very comfortable win against Denmark. But 0-0 tonight. We're halfway through the first half, and here's Darren Fletcher to half-time. Don't get ahead of myself.
Thanks, John. So 0-0. And Portugal have got the ball just short of the halfway line with Raul Meireles. Plays it forward down the right-hand side towards Postiga, who's not really been a factor in the match so far. Couldn't direct the header back towards Nani. And the Czech Republic have got the possession again on the left-hand side, although Pilash has given the ball away. And Nani has it on the right-hand side, faced by the left full-back Limberski. Portugal in all white in this match, with that very prominent green and red cross on the front of the shirts. Red trimmed with blue for Czech Republic, who have played really well in the opening 23 minutes. Ronaldo's been a non-factor, but he finds Coentrão on the left edge of the penalty area. Coentrão's cross took a little deflection, and that forced Petr Cech just to back off and then make the catch underneath the crossbar. It remains 0-0. Pat Nevin.
I suspect, having watched a bit of this game now, that Ronaldo's actually been asked to play just a little bit nearer in, away from the touchline. He was so good in the touchline in the last game. I'm thinking, well, come on, drag out the defender, isolate him, go on. But he's not done it. But it's left a lot of space for Coentrão to get up there. He's not used it well yet, but maybe that's the plan. I'm not sure it's a good one, though.
Well, in fairness, Pat, the 2 group games I saw with Portugal against Germany and Denmark, he played a very similar role to the one we're seeing tonight. And there's no coincidence that he looked a lot more threatening, and he got the couple of goals when he gave himself that little bit more space and played wider against the Dutch. Czech Republic, underdogs in this match. They've never lost a quarter-final. They've won the 2 previous ones they were in. The only time these two have met in the quarter-finals of this competition was back at Euro 96. It's the 5th successive tournament that Portugal have reached the quarter-final stage. They went out at this stage 4 years ago against Germany. It's 0-0. Here's Ronaldo. Little ball in field now towards Moutinho. Then back to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's in on goal. Excellent save by Cech. Just nudged the defender over. And I think Howard Webb might have spotted that. Ronaldo still was able to shoot, and Cech still did very well. But that's the first time he's really burst into life, isn't it, Ronaldo?
And it came from the left-hand side. It was Coentrão, played the ball inside. Moutinho plays the pass. Definitely wasn't offside. For me, I think Ronaldo's just stronger. I think nothing more than that. It's given a free kick against him there. Gets through and goal, and it's a good save by Petr Cech. Wouldn't have counted, but there's no great complaints really from Ronaldo, but I didn't think there was anything wrong with that.
Pat, explain to me how a team can concede 4 goals in its opening match of a tournament and win the group. It's remarkable, isn't it, when you think that's what happened to Czech Republic in the first match, to have the character to come back.
Yeah, A, but B, it wasn't the best group, and they had one good team who had one good game in them, and it was Russia, and they met them then.
Nani's going to be shown a yellow card for a foul on the far side on Limberski. I think that's a legacy of the situation that John was describing to you a few minutes ago. So Nani booked. He's not one of the 5 outfield players for Portugal on a yellow card. So Nani won't be suspended for the semi-final should they get there for that indiscretion on the far side of the field. 0-0.
It's quite a soft yellow card, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Howard Webb's probably just trying to solve that situation before it does become a real issue. I mean, all the talk was about Ronaldo coming into the match after the 2 goals against the Dutch in the previous game for Portugal, but Nani has been consistently better in this tournament so far. But neither of the wide players for Portugal so far have been a factor, although here's Ronaldo running towards the penalty area, absolutely surrounded by 4 or 5 red-shirted Czech Republic defenders. They swarm around the ball like bees round honey, don't they?
That was an American quarterback getting sacked by 5 defenders.
The line collapsed a bit too quickly for his liking.
Battered them, absolutely fired them right one, and another yellow card.
Yep, now it's going to be Miguel Veloso shown a yellow card. He's another player not on a yellow card, so Veloso goes in the book and joins Nani.
It's just got a little bit more tasty now, and it's interesting though, because that is that's a yellow card with bells on, and it was Derrida he took out of the play there, and I tell you what, they just want to try and stop the boy Derrida, because on the ball he's great.
Ronaldo just had a word with Howard Webb, claiming that he might have been fouled when he was surrounded by those 5 players, but there was no contact on Ronaldo until the ball had clearly gone. Here's Juracek with the long hair and the beard and the piercing eyes. He'd frighten you to death if you had a staring competition with Juracek, wouldn't he?
Do you know, I'm trying to think, there are a number of players that he reminds me of, but they're all 20 or 30 years ago, so I'm not going to mention them, it's too long ago.
Here's Gebri Selassie on the right-hand side, and he's got in behind the Portugal defenders. Gebri Selassie crosses, and it's stabbed away by Pepe at the near post. The Real Madrid defender in the right place at the right time. That was a really important challenge after a surging run down the right-hand side by the fullback Gebri Selassie. Now with him committed forward, Ronaldo can attack the space on the left. Really good challenge though, just outside the penalty area on him by Sivok. Ronaldo picks up the ball again, faced by 2 Czech Republic defenders. Rolls it back now to Moreles, and then Moreles to the centre of the Czech Republic half, and Veloso, and now the short, squat, dark-haired figure of Moutinho to Pereira, and then back to João Moutinho, and then Miguel Veloso, just on the edge of the centre circle, but inside Czech Republic territory. 0-0 on 5 Live from the BBC. The first of the 4 quarter-finals at Euro 2012. All of our games, of course, broadcast from inside the stadium. I'll be off to Gdansk in the morning for the next one tomorrow night, which is Germany against Greece. Played forward there by Veloso towards Helder Postiga. Not a good ball, and Czech Republic can play their way out of danger with young Vladimir Derrida, who started really well, the 21-year-old. Just the 3rd time he's played for Czech Republic, and he looks a real danger playing just behind the veteran striker Baros. Here's Juracek in space on the right. Will renew acquaintances with Coentrão just outside the Portugal penalty area. Lifted in by Juracek, headed away by Bruno Alves, and then Juracek with the long flowing brown hair behind him will go back and retrieve the ball, and then play the ball to Limberski on the far side. Now bursting through comes Cadlets, and into Portugal territory, and then to Sivok. The central defender's very comfortable in possession. Now Juracek, and then Gebri Selassie just showed too much of that to Coentrão, and the Real Madrid defender can allow it to roll behind, and that's going to be a goal kick away to our right for Portugal, who were quite heavy favourites coming into this game, Pat, but have been so impressed by the way Czech Republic have gone about their work. And the future's bright for Czech Republic. I was at the Under-21 European Championship finals last summer in Denmark. They knocked England out on the way with a late Thomas Peckart goal, and they went all the way to the final where they lost to a very impressive Spain team. So there is a lot of young talent in Czech Republic. The next generation is almost ready.
Well, they need it, because there's kind of came to the end of a generation that had been doing very well, that was hugely respected throughout European and world football. But if Derrida is the standard that they're bringing through, I'm hugely impressed with him. But also Gebri Selassie, what a difference he's made as well. So there's the youngsters for me are the younger players, the ones that are really impressing me in their team so far.
Cleared away by Sivok from 10 yards outside the Czech Republic penalty area towards the halfway line, where it's headed on by Plasil, only as far as João Moutinho, who rolls it forward to Nani, who turns inside Czech Republic's half of the field, and then moves out to more familiar surroundings of wide on the right-hand side. Nani to Postiga, back to Nani. Really good challenge on the edge of the penalty area by Limberski. One or two Portugal players look at Howard Webb at the suggestion that might have been a back pass, but it's not going to stand. And Czech is in possession away to our left-hand side. I noticed that Luis Figo is here in the ground today, sat next to Eusebio. Those two goals that Ronaldo scored against the Dutch have taken him past Figo on the all-time list. Only Eusebio and Pauletta have now scored more goals than Ronaldo, who wins his 94th cap tonight at the age of 27, with the 2 goals in the tournament as well. He's a contender for the Golden Boot, which is being led at the moment, of course, by Mario Gomez of Germany. That was a remarkable stat from a previous game, you know. He scored the 2 goals against the Dutch, Gomez, and he actually had possession of the ball as the lone striker for Germany. Bearing in mind he scored twice for 18 seconds out of the 90 minutes, and he got 2 goals.
There's certain players who would love that stat.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly here. I'm here for one thing: put the ball in the net.
Yeah, and I worked out that one of his goals must have taken at least 7 seconds, so he didn't do too much after that. Here's Ronaldo anyway for Portugal. You're listening to 5 Live with the roof closed inside the stadium here in Warsaw. And Veloso's got a bit of space in the central position midway inside the Czech Republic half. Now here's Morelos with the hair shaved at the sides, the Mohican haircut for the tournament, the Chelsea man. Coentrao runs into a bit of trouble just outside the box, but he still finds Morelos, and now he's got the ball again, and he can cross, flicks off Gebri Selassie. It will land on the roof of Petr Cech's net, and it's a corner to Portugal on the left-hand side. And they're dangerous from this kind of situation. They tend to rotate the corner takers between Morelos, Moutinho and Veloso, and they get good movement in the middle from the likes of Pepe and Alves as well. And
Ronaldo, as we know, is not bad in there either. It's interesting again, Contral's the one that gets across in there. Now, it's not always very sophisticated how he gets to the byline, but he gets there a hell of a lot for a fullback. It's very, very impressive additional striker.
So here comes the corner from Moutinho from the left-hand side. It almost found the head of Pepe, who scored from a similar position in the group stage against Denmark. Portugal keep the possession. And Moutinho with a deeper cross this time towards Alves, who hooks it back from the byline high into the penalty area. Flicked away, might fall for Pepe. Pepe lifts it in. Ronaldo with a bicycle kick just wide. He wouldn't have got there, Petr Cech. Couple of yards wide of the post. That'll be a goal kick, and the flag significantly had stayed down, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, you look at the skill and the talent of being able to do that for anyone who can do an overhead kick. But the angle was all wrong. There's very few players in the world, I mean very few, would have considered the overhead kick there. He did, and he was very unlucky because he had plenty of power on it.
He was onside. We've just seen the replay. Whenever I think of overhead kicks, I always think of Hugo Sanchez, that fantastic Mexican striker from Real Madrid. It was his trademark.
He loved him. He scored a few of them, didn't he?
So 0-0 here. We've got 12 minutes of the first half to go, which has been tense and cagey, but not as one-sided as people anticipated, because the Czech Republic have played really well. They're a very good unit, aren't they? Very good unit. They help each other out. Nani's now been fouled by Limberski. Limberski looks at Howard Webb, who's not going to show him a card for the challenge, although Nani has stayed down on the right, midway inside the Czech Republic half. I think he just maybe... Well, it seemed to be the trailing leg of Limberski that just caught Nani after the ball had gone.
I don't think he wants a yellow card, does he, Limberski?
Might be the right...
Did he do him one?
Yeah, might be the right ankle, actually, for Nani, but he's back on his feet, he's okay.
There wasn't a lot in that.
No.
I have to say. I think, again, the referee probably gets it right. Clipped free kick, but certainly not a yellow.
But it does provide Ronaldo with an opportunity to put some quality into the penalty area, or in fact have a strike at Czech's goal, because it's on the right, level with the corner of the penalty area, but about 35 yards from Czech's goal. And Czech knows all about the danger of Ronaldo from this kind of position. Stands with that familiar stance before he strikes the ball, with the legs apart and the arms dangling down by his sides. 2-man Czech Republic wall. 11 minutes of the first half to go on 5 Live in Warsaw. Here comes Ronaldo. Right foot, free kick with lots of power. And Czech had it covered as it flashed across the face of goal and wide of the right-hand post.
Don't think he caught it as clean as he would like to have. He likes to catch it straight on his laces and get a little bit of a bend, but it bent away, the kind of normal bend the ball takes. What he wants is a ball that kind of goes one way then the other and dips down, but in simple terms that was just a slight hook.
It's interesting, Pat, because I've spent the majority of the tournament with Jan Molby covering matches, who struck a pretty mean dead ball himself, and he was saying how significant it's been, the change of football back to the tango, which doesn't move around as much as the Jabulani did in South Africa.
But it still moves, though.
It does move, but it helps the players, in Jan's opinion, this particular ball.
Well, remember Joe Hart's fantastic save in the last game there.
Yeah.
An amazing save. The movement of the ball there was quite incredible, and just well done, Joe Hart. I think that's been the save of the tournament so far.
Throw into Czech Republic then, wide on the right-hand side. It's levelled with the edge of Portugal's penalty area. Juracek is going to leave it to Gebri Selassie, who takes it to Derrida, and then he plays it forward towards Juracek, but it's probably the first misplaced pass we've seen from the youngster, and it's gone behind for a goal kick to Portugal away to our right-hand side. It's 0-0.
Don't mind the first misplaced pass being, after about 35 minutes, when you've had a lot of the ball, and the pass is one that's trying to get, set up a goal-scoring chance. That's fine. Take chances. Have a go in those situations. He's shown a bit of maturity as well, even for his 21 years, I believe.
Yep. Extremely colourful scenes inside this stadium in Warsaw, with the roof closed and the 4 big Jumbotron screens hanging from the ceiling almost directly over the centre circle. We've got a pocket of Czech Republic fans on the far side. All of them seem to be wearing a red shirt, but it's amazing how many Polish supporters are here tonight. They've all got their flags, they've all got their scarves, they're all wearing their shirts, and there was a spell after about 15 minutes where they all stood up in unison and sang a song and waved the scarves around, and it was almost as if Poland are playing here tonight. Of course they're out. It's Portugal against Czech Republic, and it's 0-0, and Nani's got the ball on the far side, which is the Portugal right in this first half. Plays it back towards João Pereira. Challenge comes in by young Pilash, and it's out for a throw on the left now to Czech Republic.
If you're Czech Republic, before the game you're thinking to yourself, what do we do? In simple terms, we make sure the wingers don't do anything. Close down their space, push them inside, don't give them any opportunities, and certainly don't give them individual space against one in wide areas. They haven't allowed that to happen so far. Done well.
Here comes Juracek through the centre circle for Czech Republic, and now Gebri Selassie on the right seemed to stub his toe as he tried to play it forward and handed possession back to Portugal, and they've got it now on the left hand side with Fabio Coentrão down the line to Ronaldo, hits him on the hip, bounces out of play, and that's a throw in on the halfway line to the Czech Republic with 8 minutes to play in the first half.
I've seen that again. Gebri Selassie was probably 45 yards ahead of Ronaldo. Ronaldo made no effort whatsoever to track him back, so that's not his game, but the intelligence of the player Hushman come over and give him a little bit of cover. Really working together well as a team.
Here come Czech Republic, left hand side with Pilash. Supporting Pilash is Plasil, who's just made the move now towards the left. Instead it goes back to Derrida, and then Derrida gives the ball away, hits it straight to Matinho, and Veloso can tidy things up back to his goalkeeper Rui Patricio in all green away to the right. Not the best of clearances by the Sporting Lisbon goalkeeper, but he still is able to find Matinho.
Postiga's absolutely pulled up there. Something seriously went wrong there. He's hobbling about and hoping that his hamstring's not snapped, but I think it has.
Looks like the right hamstring to me. He's gone down on the field, has held a Postiga, and Ronaldo is just going to backheel the ball out of play so he can get the treatment that he needs.
He just took off. He thought he was going to get a little bit behind the centre back there, so he went and turned and just started maybe his second stride into a sprint and just came to a dead stop. It's a horrible feeling as a player, because you hope it's just a little tweak that's going to rub off, but it usually isn't. Well,
Mr. Predictable, Paulo Bento, likes to make the change of Postiga off and Nelson Oliveira on at about 65 to 70 minutes. Well, he's got Hugo Almeida warming up tonight, which is a different type of player, bigger physically, taller, stronger, better in the air than Helder Postiga, and a completely different player to Nelson Oliveira as well. So we're going to see Hugo Almeida for the first time in the tournament, so that will be now 16 players used by Paulo Bento. Blimey, he's going to have to settle down. He's going through the squad like wildfire.
It's a real sad thing to see that, and Postiga, he's not been striking fear into the opposition, let's be honest about it, in the game so far. But, he's an important player for the team. He tries to hold the ball up, and for him, maybe one of the biggest games of his career, and it's definitely surely finished now. I can't see him coming back from that.
Postiga helped onto a stretcher in an awful lot of pain, and Hugo Almeida, the Besiktas forward, all 6'3" of him with the broad shoulders, is going to be coming on. 15 goals in the league for Besiktas this season, and he looked a pretty dangerous player at times during the World Cup in South Africa, where he gave Portugal something different, that more traditional English type of centre-forward, which made the crosses from wide positions from the likes of Nani and Ronaldo that much more effective. He might also, Pat, hold the possession up a little bit, because they've given it away quite a bit, haven't they, Portugal? They haven't really been able to mount too many sustained attacks around the penalty area.
I mean, a lot of the time you think, why is the wide players... I mean, keep on going on about the wide players. It's not just because I played that position. We know that's where Portugal is strong. Now you think, well, wait a minute, you depend on the service. The service is going to come from the full-back of the midfield. Actually, a lot of the time it comes from centre-forward, played up to him, who then spreads it wide to you, and then you're attacking it. It's not happened yet in this game at all through Postigo. So let's see, just as you say, can Almeida do a little bit better?
Here's Coentrão on the left-hand side. Coentrão just caught by Hubschmann, midway inside the Czech Republic half on the left side of the field. So it's going to be a free kick, and it's the first opportunity to try and find Hugo Almeida. Pepe's gone forward with Bruno Alves as well. So there's certainly more height and more aerial threat now about this Portugal team, with 4 minutes to play in the first half. We're 0-0 in Warsaw. Raul Meireles is standing over the free kick, which is about 15 yards in from the left touchline, and he's going to bend this in with his right foot. It's flicked on by Ronaldo and then headed away on the far side by Pilas. Back towards the penalty area by Veloso, helped on further by Pepe. Then Veloso challenges once more, and it's cleared away by Hubschmann towards halfway, where Pilas will run after it, and Nani will pretty awkwardly play it back to Rui Patricio, who has to sprint out towards the right touchline. The ball won't go out, and in the end Rui Patricio has kicked it out, and he didn't need to do that, Pat. If he
didn't need to do that, I'll tell you what,
action to start with.
Well, but I'd be delighted that he did do it. If you've made a mistake, don't compound a mistake. I'm sure you've done some golf before. If you made a mistake, just do the simple thing and get back in play. That's exactly what he done there. Kicked the ball out of it, got himself back into his position, did the right thing.
It's not the first time that Portugal have played in this stadium. They were the team that Poland selected to open it for them. They drew 0-0 here in March. So not unfamiliar surroundings for the Portuguese players. Nani crosses too high for Almeida, and a very confident defensive header by Sivok back to his goalkeeper. That can sometimes go wrong, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, really comfortable there. I mean, Almeida's at the back post there, and he's the height, so they want to put the ball in there, but a wee bit of a shame. I think it was the wrong decision from Nani. Ronaldo had made a really good run inside that area, was into a dangerous area, should have been played in. And another thing for Ronaldo, they're just not getting the ball to him. I have to say, he's losing the battle against Gabriel Selassie so far, but he's also not getting the ball sometimes when he should be giving it.
We've played 42 minutes on 5 Live from the BBC, live in Warsaw. Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0. Ronaldo has had the two most promising opportunities in the match, the overhead kick and also the shot from an angle which was saved by Czech, but he's not been the factor that he was in the game against the Dutch, and they've certainly not found their stride yet, Portugal. I think you've got to say, though, if you look at the way they've gone about their work in the tournament, they've been a better second half team. It's almost taken them 45 minutes or so to work things out, and in the second half against Germany and Denmark and also against the Dutch in the group, they played their best stuff after the break.
But that's always the case with technical teams, because all they want to do is develop space, and space is much easier to develop in the second half when you're playing against more tired players.
Ronaldo chases, poor defensive header this time from Sivok, only to Almeida, and then played into the penalty area by Meireles to Nani. Nani goes down under the challenge, no penalty. Nani jumps up on the spot, puts his hands on his head. He's convinced he should have been given a penalty. Howard Webb had a good position and was never flustered, and he just waved play on.
I think there might have been a wee drag back there. But having said that, it'd have been a very, very tough penalty.
I don't think you can give a penalty for that, Pat, seeing the replay.
There is a little drag back, but very little. I agree with you.
I have to say,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think Howard, well done there. If you're going to give penalties for that, you're going to have 7 a game.
He's certainly been as good a referee as I've seen in the tournament, Howard Webb. Doesn't let things bother him, and very calm and assured the way referees the game.
Further than that, I don't think there's anyone close to him.
No.
I think he's that far ahead at the moment. Certainly what he's done so far.
Certainly not our friend from Spain who refereed the opening game.
Who hopefully is on a flight home right now.
He's listening to us on the World Service, probably.
Excellent.
In Madrid. Here's Veloso inside the centre circle. Final minute of the first half. 0-0. And it's with Coentrão on the left, faced by Juracek. Overlapping run down the left by Raul Meireles. Coentrão instead goes infield and picks out João Moutinho, who's faced by Hubschmann, back out to the left-hand side, and Coentrão again. Lots of white shirts forward for Portugal. Coentrao knocks it short and wider to Morelos, then back infield to Veloso, trying to pick the lock, trying to find a way through this well-organised Czech Republic defence. Overlapping run down the right by João Pereira, but well read over there by Pilaš, and he's able to clear, but only as far as Veloso. Almeida waits in the middle. Slid forward towards Nani. Nani turns just outside the box to Ronaldo. Back to goal. Back to Nani. Nani gets through the first challenge. Then Sivok is able to clear it away. And Barros will challenge on the far side. But he's beaten to the ball by Pepe. 2 minutes of additional time to play. Ronaldo in possession. Ronaldo just outside the area. Rolls it square to Nani. It's very, very congested. 6 Czech Republic players around the ball. They were simply outnumbered, Portugal, and Czech Republic can clear towards the far side, but they will come again.
Well, they're doing the opposite of what they should be doing, i.e. they're killing the space, but all the players going in the middle there and not stretching the game. It's very strange to see it, but...
Mireles swings it forward. Ronaldo chests it down inside the box and turns. Brilliant shot, hits the post. Fantastic skill by Ronaldo. Czech was beaten. Ball comes back off the post. Crossed in by Nani. Takes a deflection. It's behind for a Portugal corner. Cristiano Ronaldo can't believe he didn't score.
I wish I'd have got my butt out there. I was halfway through saying, but Cristiano Ronaldo loves playing in that inside right sort of area. He's got in there for the 3rd time in the game and looked brilliant.
You leave your book where it is, Pat. Corner on the right of Portugal anyway. Delivered into the penalty area. Flicked on by Nani. Too much contact, and that sends it looping over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick to Czech Republic. Ronaldo's just raised his arms to the sky, looked at the roof inside the Olympic Stadium. It was wonderful skill, wasn't it?
It was. The great chest down, turn it. His balance is absolutely superb there. He'd beaten Czech, so he's had an overhead kick. He's had a shot which Peter Cech has saved very well, and he's hit the post, not for the first time in this tournament.
He's getting in the game, isn't he? Getting himself in some decent positions is Ronaldo. Still 0-0 though. And we've got 30 seconds of additional time to play at the end of this first half on 5 Live in Warsaw. Germany-Greece to come tomorrow. You'll hear that game, of course, same time on 5 Live. And Pepe is in possession here for Portugal. Howard Webber's had a look at both watches. Got one on each wrist, the English referee. As the ball is with Coentrao on the left, back in towards Portugal territory. And Howard Webb, bang on, 47 minutes, blows his half-time whistle. And Cristiano Ronaldo is berating himself as he marches towards the tunnel. Hit the post, had a couple of good opportunities as well. But you can't take anything away from Czech Republic in the first half, Pat Nevin. They gave as good as they got.
They did so, but also not just with the work rate. Yeah, you'd expect that. I think they've played very well. I have to say I have to applaud the coach just now. The coach has got it tactically brilliant. Very few opportunities for a very good Portuguese side, but it seems to be all down to Ronaldo. Give him half a chance and he'll do something special. He's berating himself, as we've seen there. No wonder he feels as if he should be 4-0 up just now. Do not give that man space. The game will be finished.
Well, David Pleat did predict a long night for us here in Warsaw. At the moment, Mark, it's turning out that way. Half-time, Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0.
Yes, 0-0 at half-time. Just watching Ronaldo walking out of the tunnel alongside the referee, Howard Webb, and they spoke from the point they emerged to almost the centre circle, and the conversation ended with Ronaldo rubbing the back of Howard Webb's head. So make of that what you will. 0-0, and the teams are as they finished the first half. No substitutions at half-time, so the Czechs with Czech in goal, Gebrselassie, Sivok, Kadlec and Limberski, Hubschmann and Plasil, and then Jiricek and Pilaš in the wide positions, and Derrida behind Barros. Derrida for Kolář was the only change that the Czech coach Michal Bilek made for this game. As Howard Webb begins the second half, Portugal kick off with Rui Patricio in goal. At the back, João Pereira, Bruno Alves, Pepe and Fabio Coentrao, Morelos, Veloso and Moutinho in midfield, and Nani, Ronaldo and substitute Hugo Almeida. And Portugal coming forward early, and the header over the top from Almeida from the edge of the 6-yard box. The cross swung over perfectly for him, and the bearded Almeida headed over the angle of post and bar.
And it was so effortless how they managed to put that move together. And maybe the Czech Republic a little bit asleep there at the start, and once again what we were talking about at half time, just at the end of the first half, was that Ronaldo comes in deep, leaves a big gap behind Gebrselassie, and this time it was well used, crossing it in the middle. Sanford should have done better there.
Yeah, really should. Excellent cross from Morelos from the left hand side, And Almeida, it's his first chance after coming on as a substitute late-ish on in the first half, 5 minutes before half-time, when Helder Postigo went down with what looked very like a hamstring problem. So it remains 0-0. Long one forward for Moutinho on the edge of the area. Headed away, comes out to Nani. Nani trying to bring it down. He's got Pereira on the outside. Pereira takes it past his man, crosses towards the back post. Everyone went for the front post, and so it landed at the feet of Gebri Selassie, who will pass it away from the back. Actually slices it out of play for a throw.
It's a little bit of a mistake, I would say, from Ronaldo there. You've got your big centre forward there on the penalty spot, or just centre of the goal. No point in standing right beside him. You could have trapped the back post there. Maybe they'll have got a free header.
So Portugal come again. They've made a spirited start to the second half. Coentrão and Ronaldo together on that left-hand side, but he loses it, the left back. And a throw-in is won by Juracek for the Czechs, level with the edge of their own penalty area. So it remains 0-0. I mentioned the quarter-final that the Czech Republic were involved in at Euro 2004, the last time that they were involved in a quarter-final at World Cup or European Championship level. And the significant thing about that was that the Czech Republic came out really, really strongly against Denmark that day and scored 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of the second half and won the game. Milan Baros scored 2 of them. Ronaldo with a run forward from the halfway line, and he's caught. He's fouled. Free kick given. Hupschmann just blocked him, really. Free kick forward and left of the centre circle.
I don't want to say it too soon, but surely that's too far out to shoot. You've got to think that's 40 yards there, but apparently Ronaldo disagrees.
Well, that's definitely another full penalty area distance and a little bit more.
38-ish.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, Ronaldo places the ball down, as is his way, and takes 4 huge strides backwards, and then stands with his feet apart. A 2-man Czech wall. Here comes Ronaldo with the free kick, blasts it into the wall, and then complains that the wall was not 10 yards away. I'm not sure that wall moved.
That's a bit harsh, that. The referee's gone and had a little...
Oh, he's suggesting it was a handball, that it struck the arm of the defender, which he did in front of his body.
Yeah.
So the free kick has been given for a handball. So this is 10 yards further on.
Exactly. A bit of a shame that, because the ball was going towards his chest and chin sort of area. He just, I don't think he wanted knocked out.
If that wall had been in the penalty area, would that have been given as a penalty?
He would have. He had to, well, I don't know if it would have, but the rule would have been yeah.
Now the wall is on the edge of the area, and it's been reinforced. 3, I think, in there. There's a Portuguese in too, Pepe. So Ronaldo now. This is much more like it. This is much more his territory. This is 30 yards. Ronaldo with a free kick round the wall, and Czech dives to his left. I thought he got a touch on that, the Czech goalkeeper.
So did I.
Well, Nani does as well. So does Almeida. But referee Howard Webb, perhaps assisted by... Oh, it's hit the post. That was the deflection. That was the deflection. Outside of the post. He's now hit the post twice in the game.
How many times is he going to do that in this Actually, he's done it. He's put 4 fingers up, as if that's the 4th time I've hit the post in this tournament so far. And I think Petr Cech was beaten there. He may well have got a finger nailed to it, and nothing more than that. But what a great free. And the big thing, it bounced in front of Petr Cech, and that's what the goalkeepers hate in these situations.
Still Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0 in the first of the quarter-finals here at Euro 2012, and Ronaldo now has seen shots strike a post at both ends, and we've worked out now, because we asked Darren at half-time, who's seen 3 of the 4 Portugal games, how many times he has hit post up, and that is number 4 now, we think.
Well, I think it would seem to be that, because that's what it looked like Ronaldo was actually doing there with his fingers, 2 in each hand, but
plus a number of missed chances as well, of course, good chances that you would think that Ronaldo would have scored, and the 2 goals that he did score against the Dutch. 0-0. Portugal have started much the better in the second half, and here they come again. Ronaldo with the cross, all awkward for the defender, who had to readjust, and now gets a second chance, Cadlets, and it lands in front of him, and he's able to volley it out towards the right hand side, where Juracek tries to pull it down, do a Ronaldo, failed completely, and just put it out for a throw-in on the left hand side.
And that was Ronaldo's first run as a left winger in this entire game, and he looked quite good. Wonder why he hasn't done before.
Portugal come again in their change kit, the all-white kit with the red and green trim, the red and green cross of Portugal on the front in red and green. And now Coentrão to Moutinho. There's Ronaldo again, right out on the left-hand side. Back to Coentrao, deep cross into the area, straight into the hands of Petr Cech on the edge of the 6-yard box, who instantly gives it away downfield for Barros to chase. Barros has not got a teammate within 40 yards of him, but it bounces up, and Pepe of Real Madrid heads the ball out of play for a throw.
I tell you what, I didn't think that was a good ploy, that from Petr Cech, to lump the ball that far when Barros has got no one with him and he's not going to have the pace to run away. But in actual fact, Pepe's given them the throw in up at the 18-yard line here. They've managed to get the entire team out. Turns out it was a good tactic.
So a throw for the Czechs. Limberski to take it, waiting for the run which comes towards him from Barros. Throw it cross quarters, and then Barros can't keep it in on the left hand side, and it's out for a throw to Portugal. That was fairly plain from the Czechs to lose the position that they had there. So Portugal back in possession.
You wonder how much of this game the Portuguese slightly underperforming is to do with the expectation it's on their shoulders. They are expected, or were before the game, heavily backed and expected to win this game, and they're not playing with the same fluidity as they have done before. Now it's partly the opposition as well, but you know, they go out and just have a go at the Dutch, they go out and have a go at the Germans, etc. But in this game it's been a wee bit more difficult up until now.
Nani with it on the right hand side, halfway inside Czech territory, looks for a 1-2. The pass back to Nani is overhit, does well to keep it in actually. Nani still has it next to the corner flag, rolls it back to Pereira. Now once again Nani with 3 Czech players there, but Nani threads it in between all of them to Morales. Now back to Nani, who gives it away on the edge of the box. That was careless. I think he was looking for the little run forward from Morales that didn't come, and as a result it was given away, and Czech in the end is able to clear to the halfway line.
About to the previous knowledge that Darren's had about Nani, but he's not had his best one today, has he?
No, he has not.
Not today, not yet anyway.
Well, the ball bounces awkwardly as it runs back to Rui Patricio, who I think is yet to make a save in this game, the Portuguese goalkeeper, even though the Czechs did well in the opening period, certainly the opening 20 minutes, but it bubbles over the surface inside the penalty area, and now it's with Czech at the other end to our right. The stadium here, the National Stadium in Warsaw, over the Vistula River from the city centre, absolutely packed this evening, 55,000 crowd. Morales playing it over the top for Ronaldo, who's in and shoots over and wide as well. Gabriel Selassie went with him, the full-back, and slightly off balance. The shot was over the top.
Yeah, but the technique he's trying to do there is the half volley at a very, very difficult angle, and that's a tough one to do. Tries to take it on, but it's just too far on the up by the time he hits it. He's trying to take it early, that's what he's trying to do, you know, and surprise the goalkeeper. If you get those ones on target, the keepers quite simply never save them. But the ball was just too far on the up there, and it was a tough skill. And once again, as you rightly say, Gabriel Selassie, he was right beside him, closing him down. 5 live.
Czech Republic 0, Portugal 0. You'll hear the quarterfinals over the course of tonight and the next 3 nights as we bring them all live from the stadiums in Poland and Ukraine. Germany-Greece tomorrow night, expected to be even more one-sided than this game this evening was expected to be.
Well, anyone I've talked to is very excited about it, who's going to be going to the game. Just noticing the first 10 minutes or so of this second half, the Czech Republic are falling back, aren't they?
Yes,
they're
very
really
much.
Falling back into the defensive position.
Portuguese corner taken from the left-hand side by Morales, headed away on the edge of the box, and then nodded back by Veloso to the halfway line, where the right-back João Pereira actually turns and gives it all the way back to Rui Patricio in the goal to our left, who takes pity on the fact that he's seen so little of the ball. He gives it back to João Pereira, who dropped deep, and the Portuguese move forward once again. Pepe out towards the left-hand side to Veloso, who gets it back from Morales. Now Veloso again pulls the ball back into the centre circle to Pepe, who passes it through the middle. Ronaldo takes it in his stride, shoots from distance into the back of Cadles, and the ball skitters away in behind for another corner to Portugal, this time from the right.
I think it's getting ominous now for the Czech Republic. Not necessarily because, you know, Portugal are playing fantastic football. They just drop them too far deep, allowing Portugal to get to the last third, an almost 18-yard line without any effort now. It's too easy for Portugal, and you have to be able to score somehow, and they're just not going up the pitch.
Moutinho with the corner from the right to the near post, headed away. Morales got right underneath the shot, tried to sort of angle a shot in, leaning to his left, but it fizzed over the bar by 3 or 4 yards.
Always tough. Once again, similar to Ronaldo beforehand there, the ball was actually rising when he hits it, and it's a tough enough skill at the best of times, but certainly with these balls they play with, the light balls, that's a very tough thing to do.
Just seeing another shot of the Ronaldo free kick, whether it would have beaten Czech if it had been into the bottom corner as opposed to the outside of the post.
Yeah, absolutely open to question there, because there's maybe a fingernail that Czech's just about got to, and considering it hit the post anyway, maybe if it had been half a foot further in, Peter would have got his fingers to it, or even his whole hand.
The piece of skill that Ronaldo produced in the first half, though, to completely beat Cadlets as he pulled the ball down, and then the shot against the post, if he'd scored there, that would have been right up there in the top 3 goals at Euro 2012. I think we can say that without question. It just had a little air.
I'll say it if you don't want to say it.
It had a little air of.
Okay, Paul Gascoigne against Scotland. Yes, there was a bit of that, John.
Yeah, just a touch of that about it.
Well spotted.
Ball forward from Moutinho to the edge of the box. Almeida's claiming that he got a bang on the head from Gebre Selassie, but the Czech right back won the ball. And here they come, Derrida, who we've seen little or nothing of in the second half, and it's won back by Moutinho. It was given away actually by Derrida. Now Nani has got it. Nani shoots goalwards, Czech down to his right, makes the save, pushes it out, and it's cleared away by Gebre Selassie.
You get a feeling there's going to be a few more of them now from Peter Cech, because of the pressure now, and because they've got players like Nani, like Ronaldo, who can let fly, and even Raul Meireles as well. He's going to have to save a few shots in this game if the Czechs fall further and further back. Great hit that, but a good stop as well. Yeah,
so now Nani's beginning to get in on the act as well. It's not just Ronaldo. Still 0-0 though. The Czechs defending in numbers, and Plasil in with a challenge. Then it's only half cleared away by Limberski. Nani rides a challenge from Limberski near the corner of the penalty area. Nani's ball in, great chance here. It's headed in, but it won't count. Almeida stooping down to knee level to head it in, but the flag was very quickly up from Mike Malarkey.
I have to say it was very, very close, but we'll see a replay. It was tighter than you think, but it was a foot, or a yard even maybe. He is offside.
Yes, he got it right, the English assistant. And we're going to see a Czech change there first, and it's Jan Rezek who is going to be the first man called from the substitutes bench for the Czech Republic, the man who dived to win the late penalty in the 2-2 draw against Scotland at Hampden in the qualifiers.
Oh, you use the word dived, I'll use the word cheated.
Cheated and dived. And the incident that I think fairly is being seen as the one that ended Scotland's involvement in this competition. Pilas now down the left-hand side. Pilas takes on and beats João Pereira, and now beats Pepe, and Pilas still going into the penalty area, pulls it across, but straight into the chest of Veloso. With 2 Czech players waiting at the far post, he couldn't pick out the pass.
I know, and it was the 2 Czech players that he wanted to be in there. Obviously Baroš is in there, he's the centre forward, but Derrida got there, and Jiricek had got there as well. Really good players. Had he picked one of them out, they could have got a goal. That'll give the Czechs a lift, and you can hear the fans getting behind them now.
Yes, just what they needed after a tough 15 minutes at the start of the second half. But they've ridden that storm, Pat Nevin, and we heard a chorus there of Czechy from all of their thousands of supporters inside the stadium. I've got a feeling as well that many of the Polish supporters, as we would back home, supporting the underdog in this game, and also supporting their neighbours over the border.
No, I agree with you completely, and I think by the fact that Ronaldo got so much stick in the first half, I don't think that was just Portuguese fans.
Jiricek now to Baroš, heavy touch from him, and Portugal able to clear it. Pepe, I think, is suggesting he got a shove in the back from Baroš, but they got it away anyway, Portugal. But the touch there was awful from Baroš.
Chance to make the change now.
So it is Derrida, who had gone quiet.
Yeah, I think he got tired, and it's no surprise. I mean, he's given everything to the game, and we did look at those figures at half-time, and to my surprise and shock, my man Jiricek hadn't covered the most ground. It was actually Derrida. And no surprise, he's run himself into the ground and ran out of energy. So he's given his all, he's had a good game.
So the much vilified Jan Rezek is on again for the Czech Republic, and he'll take up a position Well, it appears as though he's heading up towards the right-hand side.
He often does that. He did that against Scotland, came in from the right wing. In fact, that is where he got the penalty kick from.
Czechs having to defend though, but it's given away by Ronaldo, who just stands. I've seen that a few times over the years. He's given it away and he just stands and waves his arms around Ronaldo halfway inside the Czech half as the Czechs counter with Juracek into the penalty area, but the challenge comes in on him and the ball just comes off Juracek after Moutinho put in the initial block and ran through to Rui Patricio. 0-0, 5 live here in Warsaw. And now Nani lifts the ball between two Czech players, but then Hubschmann is there with the challenge, so the Czechs have got it back once more and they're over the halfway line, and Limberski is looking for the ball over the top for Pilasz to chase, and he's up against João Pereira, who just touches it back to Rui Patricio with Pilasz still there, making a nuisance of himself, but the Portuguese goalkeeper was able to clear. Still 0-0, and the Czechs with it inside their own half. And now Hubschmann, the fair-haired Hubschmann, turns. Morales is in front of him, so just plays it out towards the right-hand side to Sivok. And now almost for the first time in this game we're seeing the Czechs able to pass the ball around and showing a little composure. Barros now running from deep at the Portuguese defence and shooting wildly wide with Bruno Alves coming across in front of him. Goal kick, Portugal.
To be fair, it's probably the closest I've had to a shot and goal. It was a long way over there, but it has changed a little bit in those last 3 or 4 minutes, and I think Coach Bielik has actually been pushing them on and saying to them, do not sit as far back, push up a little bit. You're inviting the pressure on. They were doing for 15 minutes or so, but pushed a little bit further up. It can be a brave thing to do, you know, and sometimes it won't work if the pace of, say, Ronaldo or Nani gets away from you, but at the moment, for a few minutes there, it has worked well for them.
So now that we've started the knockout football in Euro 2012, we're still waiting for the first goal. Prospect of extra time and penalties if neither side can find one. But Portugal with João Moutinho playing it to Nani on the right hand side. Nani in the full back position, beats Limberski, gives it square to João Moutinho. Juracek comes in with a challenge and gets enough of a touch to take it away from João Moutinho, who continues his run and gets the ball back under control. Middle of the Czech half. João Moutinho now clips the ball to this right hand side to Pereira. Nani is there. Nani once again up against Limberski, who he just beat. Nani now gets the ball back on the edge of the area, plays it in right footed, only half cleared, out to João Moutinho. The defender slips, João Moutinho shoots, and Czech's able to push it up and over the top of the bar.
Well, we said 5 minutes ago Czech's going to have a few of them in this game, and that's another one. Directly at him, it has to be said, but it was going a bit of pace. It was certainly dipping. I feel it would have crept under the crossbar. It was dipping and it was moving in the air over to the right there. Czech had it covered, tips it over the crossbar, and he's keeping his team in the game now. Morella's
turn for the corner. Here it comes to the near post, headed away by Hubschmann again. Portugal take it up again, give it back to Morales on the right hand side. Lots of movement inside the penalty area. Morales cross over the top of Pepe and headed away by the new arrival Rezek behind for another corner, this time from the left hand side. Portugal's fourth of the second half.
I guess once again there they just started to sit a little bit further back, got everyone behind the ball and sat just outside the 18-yard line, and it's tough not to do that when you're under such pressure against good players, but I don't think that's going to work for them. They need to push out.
Corner is taken short to Coentrao, who curls it in, and Almeida is there but gets right underneath it and heads it wide and high and behind the advertising hoardings.
Well, that's three opportunities he's had, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, one of them, it has to be said, was offside, and he did put that one in the net. But that's two other very good heading opportunities, and if you put the likes of Mario Gomez on there, not only is it on target, it's almost certainly going to go in the back of the net. And it's been disappointing with his head so far since he came on Almeida.
It's not quite yet a backs to the wall job, but it's moving in that direction, and the Portuguese opportunities and the Petr Cech saves are beginning to mount up. And Ronaldo's hit a post twice, once in each half. Czech being put under pressure by Almeida here, but showed him a nice touch to move it away with his left foot and then clear it out for a throw-in inside the Portuguese half. Bruno Alves gives it to Morales on the halfway line. Morales has got Veloso at close quarters, but he plays it back into his own half to Pepe, and the shaven-headed Pepe with the bandaged right wrist plays it forward for Ronaldo. Czech comes a long way and takes out both Ronaldo and his defender and punches it away, and in actual fact Kadlec has stayed down. Ronaldo's okay. Howard Webb stopped play. The ball's been put into the net by Coentrao from way out. And Sivok, even though Czech has clattered Kadlec and taken him out of the game, comes across and gives Czech a pat on the top of his head guard.
Oh, that was very sore indeed. It was his left knee.
You've seen one of those super slow motion replays.
Czech's left knee went straight into the ribs of Kadlec, and he will be feeling that. It's one of those ones he'll go down and he'll be worrying as soon as he's gone down, is there a break there? Are there any breaks at all there? Because that's a horrible one. But the reason it's particularly horrible, as most people know, you're looking at the ball, you cannot stop yourself, you do not see the goalkeeper turn, so you do not protect yourself in any way. So, and Petr Cech is a big unit. I think he's in a bit of pain there.
Just wondering if they're thinking about Roman Hubnik, who you saw, Pat, in the first game when the Czech defence was pulled all over the place and hasn't appeared since.
I would think they would rather not bring him on unless they have to.
Well, I can see him actually down by the corner flag, just waving his arms around, potentially preparing himself. But Kadlec is back up onto his feet, and he's okay. So, just while we've got a stoppage in play, Pat, just somehow up how you feel things are in this game at the moment. Still 0-0.
You know, still at the moment, the Czech Republic should be quite pleased with it, because there's a limited amount of chances for the Portuguese. They're mostly from long range. Yeah, they're not really getting up the park that often, but I would think before the start of the game, that would probably be the game plan, to hold on as long as possible and get the odd break, maybe no more than that, because they know, player for player, they're probably not as good as Portugal, but you just get the feeling eventually, as the game goes on, more and more opportunities are going to come towards the Portuguese side, and one of them surely has got to be taken.
So that's how it is at the moment on 5 Live. 0-0 here in Warsaw, and here's Darren Fletcher to the end of the 90 minutes.
Thanks, John. Just about to mention that we've not seen a 0-0 yet, have we, at Euro 2012? We'll try and put the kiss of death on it, Pat, and try and get a goal from somewhere. It usually works, doesn't it? So throw into Portugal, wide on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. There's been lots of possession and lots of pressure from Portugal in the second half. Nani's ball into Ronaldo, who got their first near post. Howard Webb looks at Martin Atkinson for a bit of help. Martin Atkinson's help wasn't forthcoming, and I think Howard Webb's decision is going to be a goal kick. Now, I don't want to go on about the officials at the side of the goal, but surely Martin Atkinson would have seen that better than Howard Webb, and he just stared back at the referee. He was quite clearly hoping for some help, Pat.
In one of those situations, I often think, you know, they may well be communicating, but we just can't hear it because of the microphones here, so they're communicating quietly. But
well, he must be a ventriloquist if he was communicating there, because his lips didn't move.
You've got great eyesight, I'll tell you what. You must be Superman.
Unless he just said got the gear straight back to Howard Webb. I'm not sure.
You know, oddly, I think they got it right in the end. I don't think there was a touch.
I've just seen Paolo Bento, the coach, and he's got his hands in his pockets. He doesn't know what to do, because this is usually the stage of the game where he sends on Oliveira for Postiga, so he's at a loose end down there, the Portuguese coach, with his white shirt on, dark trousers, hands in his pockets. Michael Bielek, the coach of the Czech Republic, further down the touchline in their technical area. The Czech Republic in red shirts, with the red shorts and the red socks trimmed with blue, coming forward. Down the left, it's played forward toward Rezek. He didn't control. João Pereira wins it back, and now Pepe from Real Madrid has the ball for Portugal. And then via Moutinho, it's out to Morelos on the left-hand side, but he slips over, and he's injured in the process, is Raul Morelos, but Milan Baros won't stand on ceremony, and he's going to come forward down the right and find Juracek, stabbed out of play by Bruno Alves. And now Raul Morelos, who's clutching his right shin and just shaking his head. It might actually be an ankle problem.
Actually, just the way it went down was very, very odd. I think he stubbed it, and maybe his left ankle's just come slightly under him. So a little overextension of the ankle there. It's one of those ones that hurts for a moment, and you sit there and think, is this going to go away? Am I going to be able to run through it? Looks like he may be. Well,
he's back on his feet. Didn't need treatment from the physio, so Raul Morelos will be okay to carry on. 25 minutes gone in the second half. It's 0-0. You're listening to 5 Live at Euro 2012. We're in Warsaw tonight. We'll be in Gdansk tomorrow for Germany against Greece. All of the games right the way through to the final, broadcast live from inside the stadium here on 5 Live. Ronaldo makes a run down the left, headed away by Gebri Selassie, and then picked up on the far side of the field and played forward towards Juracek, who can control up the chest and did well to hold off Moutinho and then pick out Limburski on the left-hand side. The fullback runs forward and gives it to Pilash on the left-hand side, the short, diminutive figure who had that really good run when he left a couple of Portugal defenders trailing in his wake and couldn't find the final ball. He's lost it, and Miguel Veloso's got it back, and now João Pereira on the right-hand side, the right-back, the Sporting Lisbon player for Portugal. Here is Miguel Veloso, plays his club football for Genoa in Serie A. And now Bruno Alves from Zenit St. Petersburg exchanges passes with Morelos, and then back to Pepe, and Pepe can cross the halfway line for Portugal. Lots of white shirts forward. One of them is Moutinho in possession, and now Nani, who delivered that delicious ball in for the header from Almeida that was disallowed for offside. And Nani's been slightly better in the second half. And Moutinho to Pereira. But whenever they come forward, Portugal, there's a wall of red in the way, but Ronaldo's managed to find a bit of space inside the box. Still has it, stabs it back to Morelos, whose shot was always rising, and it's over the bar and into the supporters behind Czech's goal. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
Well, around Morelos, it has to be said, he's got a little bit of habit of doing that. Anybody who watches Chelsea regularly, every now and again he'll scream one in from 30 yards into the top corner, but the vast majority of them end up in row Z, and I think that one was row double Z. Pretty poor, took it first time, you had to do that, but just leant back at the last minute. That's poor finishing.
Extra time, penalties if necessary.
You're turning into doom merchant.
Well, I said to you earlier that I thought this would be a comfortable win for Portugal. We're chatting downstairs in the media centre, and you said long night. David Pleat said long night.
Yes, we both did.
Yeah, I bow to your knowledge.
I hope to be wrong.
Yes.
Not because not enjoying the game, it's just that, I'd like to see some goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had goals. We've been spoiled a bit, haven't we, during the tournament? There's a long ball out towards the left-hand side where the flag is up against big Hugo Almeida, and it's going to be a free kick to the Czech Republic on the edge of the penalty area.
You know, he does go offside a bit, doesn't he, Almeida? I'm not sure in that case he was offside. In fact, I would say, could argue he was level there when the ball was played from deep, but you often find with certain types of players that aren't the quickest off the mark, they try and steal a yard and go offside. He's been offside 2 or 3 times now already. Made
a big impact, Paulo Bento, since replacing Carlos Queiroz as the head coach of Portugal. Basically put round pegs in round holes. 1 or 2 players were playing out of position under the previous coach. Put Pepe back in defence from a midfield role. Ronaldo's gone to a wide position from a central area, and he's also reinvigorated João Moutinho in that box-to-box role in the middle of the park. And there's a lot more balance now about the Portugal team than we saw under Queiroz, where they didn't start the qualifying campaign at all well. Coentrão on the left-hand side, into Almeida. Little layoff to Nani, just outside the D. Central position, Portugal coming forward. Nani threads it through to Morelos. Left edge of the penalty area. Men over in the centre. Morelos crosses into the only area really in the box where there were no white-shirted Portugal players, and Czech Republic can head it away. And now it's with Veloso on the right-hand side. Rolled back to Pepe. Pepe loves to stride forward and become involved from centre-back. And now João Moutinho. And then wide to the right-hand side, and João Pereira. João Pereira back to João Moutinho, his former teammate at Sporting. Moutinho's a Porto player these days. Veloso to Morelos, who can turn and thread it through for Nani. Nani with a shot! Should have scored. Did it take a deflection? Yes, it did, which took it wide. It'll be a Portugal corner, but it was a really good position for Nani.
Tough to see from this angle where the deflection was. Like you expected to nestle in the top corner beyond Peter Cech. Maybe the defender's got across. In fact, he's celebrating Kadlec as if he's just scored a goal himself. He knows how important that was to get a little touch on it. Saved the day for the moment.
15 minutes to go. Corner to Portugal, left-hand side, 0-0. Delivered into the centre towards Pepe. Headed up into the air by Juracek, and then cleared by Sivok towards the edge of the penalty area. Alves heads it back in, helped on by Almeida. Ronaldo waiting, the ball won't come down, and in the end Pilas has it on the left-hand side, and he's just tripped from behind by Bruno Alves, and that's going to be a free kick in the left-back position for Czech Republic. That's a complete physical mismatch. Pilas looks as though he'd fit in Alves' pocket, doesn't he?
Been there, done that.
Yes, of course you have, yes.
And usually don't play. Actually, I'm doing it right now with John Murray sitting beside me.
Well, aren't we? We both are, aren't we? We both are. The man who's been dubbed Gigante by staff in a hotel here. Our very tall colleague John Murray. Headed away by Pepe from the edge of the penalty area. Still 0-0, 15 minutes away from extra time, although here's a chance for Rezek. Tried to get it infield to Barros. It was intercepted by Alves. I think they were hoping for a free kick there.
Rezek wanting a free kick.
Yep.
Shock me.
I'm glad you're over that, by the way, Pat.
It hurts a lot. It really hurts a lot. Anyone who, I mean, obviously all the listeners didn't see it, but his dive for the penalty kick against Scotland, which put Scotland out and got the Czechs through to the playoffs, was an embarrassment to football, embarrassment to sport.
And then Scotland should have had a penalty for a foul on Berra, which wasn't given. So 0-0, and it's a throw into Portugal, deep in Czech Republic territory on the right-hand side. Portugal in these white shirts with the green and red cross on the front. Here's Nani, just outside the penalty area. Little ball into Moutinho and back to Nani. Nani, poor cross. Really good position was worked there by Portugal, but Nani couldn't provide the final ball, and Czech is able to hang on to the cross. He got men over in the centre.
That's a great opportunity, wasn't it? They have been so compact defensively, really, really good. And this occasion, I think if you look in the middle there, Almeida felt as if he's got a tap in if the ball gets played across.
Barros applies the pressure on the far side, which did force the error by Coentrão. And he's had to slide the ball out of play for a throw-in. It's a rare foray into the Portugal half for Czech Republic, who have been under pressure for the majority of this second half. They've got a throw-in now on the right-hand side, and just about level with the penalty spot, which is taken to Juracek. And then Rezek contrives to lose the possession, and it's brought away down the left-hand side by Miguel Veloso. Veloso buys himself a bit of time and then plays it square to Raul Meireles, and then back to Veloso, who continued his run down the left-hand side. Long and diagonal towards Ronaldo inside the area. Flicked away by Cadlets. Important defending. Had to keep his eye on the ball and concentrated Cadlets, because Ronaldo is such a threat from that kind of position. Throw-in taken by João Pereira to Cristiano Ronaldo, and now Nani. A couple of yards in from the right-hand touchline. Nani moves in field and then rolls it back towards João Moutinho, and then square to Veloso. 10 yards outside the centre circle in the Czech Republic half. You're listening to 5 Live at Euro 2012. It's 0-0. And the ball is with Ronaldo, and now Moutinho. Little turn by Meireles, who went down inside the D. No free kick. But they're penned in Czech Republic and can't get out. Constant pressure from Portugal. Ronaldo. A short ball to his outside, to his right, to João Pereira, who's almost playing as an out-and-out winger in the second half now, the full-back. He's got no defending to do. And then Nani goes to ground under the challenge from Pilash, and Howard Webb says play on and Czech Republic can clear, but they won't be in possession for long because it's going to come straight back again. And here's Moutinho in the centre of the Czech Republic half, dispossessed though by Juracek, who's rediscovered a bit of energy, and he's nicked the ball away from João Pereira, and he's off to the races down the left. Early ball into the middle towards Rezek, picked up on the penalty spot by Rui Patricio, and here come Portugal once more. Pat Nevin.
Juracek was superb there, great player, could pass 3 players there, puts the ball in, and that's what the game's all about now. Simple as that. Portugal are not unlike Spain the way they're playing just now. They've got all the possession, they're passing it well, maybe not as well as the Spanish do at their best. They've got all the possession in the final third, and your opposition have only got one hope: the odd break. And there has been the odd break, and that one was possibly the second best one they've had in the second half so far.
Nani's certainly getting the better of Limberski in this second half. The fullback's finding it difficult at times, and now João Moutinho bursts beyond his man and whips in the cross to the middle. There's the header and the goal, and that man's done it again. Cristiano Ronaldo with a diving header at the far post. It's his 3rd goal of the tournament. Nani made it with the cross, Ronaldo finished it off, and Portugal lead by a goal to 0.
We know it's been coming, we've felt it coming, but they haven't got past the defenders in the full-back areas often enough. It's when the few times they've got around the back of the full-back there. Well done, great cross to the back post. Do you know what though? He was second favourite by so far, Ronaldo, when the ball finally came across, but he wanted it. He was willing enough to go and push forward, got in front of the defender who was supposedly marking him, and that's a great classic header. Right down into the ground. Keeper can do nothing about it. Bounces over his head.
Brilliant header. Czech has been able to keep Portugal out. He's been a one-man show back there in goal for the Czech Republic, but Ronaldo's header into the ground, and it completely took Czech out of it, really, didn't it? The bounce of the ball. And he's got 3 goals now in his last 2 games. He joins Mario Gomez at the top of the goal-scoring charts, and when they've needed their biggest player in the 2 games that mattered the most, against Holland in the final group match and here in the quarter-final, Ronaldo has delivered for Portugal.
Well, they always say about greatness, they do it when you need it. And if I was going to talk about, the 2 players against each other tonight, Gabriel Selassie against Ronaldo, 1-on-1s, I'll tell you what, Gabriel Selassie's won it all night, but he didn't win it there. He was just static for a moment, and the intelligence, a little bit of experience that Ronaldo's got, gets in front of him And again, we had people who were talking about great players before the game. He's got everything, hasn't he? Not many of the greatest players in the world have been that good at heading the ball. He's spectacular even in that area.
Played a lot narrower tonight, Cristiano Ronaldo, almost as a support striker to Almeida in the second half. And it's paid off. He's got the goal. Portugal 1, Czech Republic 0. And now Czech Republic, this inexperienced team in tournament terms, because they've had the turnover of players who have served them so well at international level. They've got 10 minutes to try and find a reply. And on the evidence of this second half, it's going to take a huge effort from Michael Bielek's team. And they can smell blood, Portugal, and as they push out looking for an equaliser, it's going to leave space for the likes of Nani and Ronaldo to capitalise on. Portugal lead, heading for a semi-final in Donetsk against either Spain or France, who meet in the quarter-final. And they've got the possession again on the right-hand side with João Pereira. Now João Moutinho, infield to Raul Meireles, and back to Moutinho again, and then Nani. Oh, they're really confident now, Portugal, spring in their step. Extra speed in the stride. Ronaldo, the goal scorer, back to Veloso, and then to Moutinho. And they're just keeping the possession and tormenting Czech Republic.
They're asking the Czech Republic the question, come on, you're a goal down now, come out. Don't keep 9 men behind the ball. We've earned the right for you to come out and develop a wee bit of space. But as so far, the system hasn't changed. They've only got 8-9 minutes to go. The Czechs have to take a chance now. They have to push it up. They have to put another striker on or push one of the midfielders further forward.
It's going to be Portugal to make the change. They're going to send on the number 6 Custodio, who's a defensive-minded central midfield player, just jumping up and down on the spot with the number 6 on his back. Here's João Pereira into the penalty area. João Pereira shoots, and Petr Cech saves, diving to his left-hand side. Not sure how much of that Cech saw, because the ball seemed to go around Ronaldo before it got to the goalkeeper, but Cech denies Portugal again, and it's a corner on the right-hand side. Good save by Cech.
Yeah, great spot to see that. He must have been seeing the ball coming in late, but just before that, Nani's little pass through the legs was different class.
I told you he'd been playing well.
He's getting better as the half goes on. You're absolutely right.
So corner to Portugal, who won't send Custodio onto the field just yet. They'll take the corner first. João Moutinho and Nani are standing over the ball on the right-hand side, delivered by Moutinho towards Bruno Alves, who heads it well wide, and that's a goal kick to the Czech Republic. Nani is going to be the player to come off.
A disappointment, actually, just coming on to a good game there, and you know, if you lose a game, Nani's very disappointed there, actually. He's just had a little look over. He's trying to waste a bit of time pretending he's not seen the board yet. Howard Webb says to him, do you know what, it's your number, you better go off now. And it is a wee bit, I mean, you can push Moutinho on a little bit further. He can play in that right wing sort of area, and then Custodio can go and sit there in the kind of defensive area.
Just seen Luis Figo jump up in the director's box here and embrace Eusebio when the Ronaldo goal went in. The king of the golden generation, wasn't he, Luis Figo? But Ronaldo has scored more goals than him at international level, and he's turning into one of the stars of the tournament, just like we hoped he'd be. When you come to a tournament like this, you want to see the big players play well, and they've not disappointed us here at Euro 2012, a tournament that we hope you're all enjoying as much as we are on 5 Live. More commentary to come tomorrow. Germany against Greece. Germany look as good as anybody in the competition. Here come Portugal looking for a second goal. A killer goal, surely. And now Howard Webb has spotted a foul.
I think Fabio Contral was probably fouled about 6 times in that move.
He's actually taken the free kick back to the original foul, which is about 20 yards away from where Contral actually went over.
He's a stunning player to watch, because he has a massive arms and legs, and you don't think he's ever really got control of the ball when he's running with it, but he's extremely effective at getting forward, Contral.
Czech Republic are going to make a change. They're going to send on Thomas Peckart, the young striker whose goal knocked England out of the under-21 tournament last summer. He's 23, plays his club football for Nuremberg in Germany. Yet to score a goal at senior level for Czech Republic, but boy, do they need one now. 6 minutes to play plus stoppage time. Portugal lead 1-0 through Ronaldo's 79th minute goal, his third of the competition. And Pepe plays it back to the goalkeeper Rui Patricio. And the goalkeeper in all green away to our left-hand side belts it long onto the chest of Almeida. And now it's with Pereira just inside the Czech Republic half on the right-hand side. Infield to Moutinho, and then Custodio gets his first touch. And Moutinho back inside Portugal territory to Pepe, the man who won the La Liga title this season with Real Madrid, then finds Pereira. And then Moutinho, the lovely ball, threaded forward up the right-hand side to Custodio, with the long dark hair on the right-hand side. Showed too much of that, though, to Pilash, who makes the challenge but can't prevent the throw. and it's a throw-in on this right-hand side to Portugal. And here comes the Czech Republic change.
Interesting to see who comes off.
Yeah,
yes,
Pekart for Hubschmann, one of the two holders in midfield that Pat was talking about. Hubschmann replaced by Pekart, who's an out-and-out goal scorer.
Yeah, you've got to do that now. So you've got two men up front. And from the Czech Republic point of view, you just hope there's one opportunity, there's one chance. There's, when the dying embers of the game now, if they can get the ball into the wide areas, go and attack, close down as much as they can, and maybe just get that one real open chance. Because, to be honest, when you look through the entirety of the game, there hasn't really been a real clean chance for them, has there?
Certainly looks a physical threat. Pekart, he's over 6 feet tall, looks big and strong, similar in build to Almeida, who's on there for Portugal, and he wins his first header above Pepe. The second ball, though, headed away by Bruno Alves, helped on then by Almeida. Away from Kadlec for Czech Republic, but only as far as Morelos, who hits a dipping shot that, well, it was supposed to be dipping, but it forgot to dip, Pat, and it sailed over the top of the bar.
As mentioned earlier on, he had known a game for Chelsea over the last year or so. He has got a few of them into the stand. He's always dangerous from those areas, but quite often dangerous for people sitting in the stand.
Paulo Bento is going to send on Rolando as well, who John and I saw play against for Porto against Manchester City in the Europa League last season, so he's going to be coming on. He's a familiar change that Bento likes to make. In the meantime, Ronaldo's got the ball, left edge of the penalty area, little step over, gets him away from Gebri Selassie, then he's gone down inside the box, and Howard Webb says no penalty.
I think he thought about it.
He did think about it.
He thought about it for a minute.
He actually moved the whistle around in his hand as well, didn't he, Howard Webb?
But again, that's all you want referees to do, give themselves thinking time, allow it to actually happen, allow the brain to get time to engage and think, no, there wasn't enough there. He's
had a really good game. He's awarded a free kick to Portugal, almost on the centre spot, and then he helps Miguel Veloso to his feet, and the change can be made. Raul Morelos, who's had as many shots as anybody in the game, not sure he's hit the target with any of them, he's coming off, and Rolando will be coming on for the last 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time here in Warsaw. Tell you what I was going to say to you, how disappointing has Milan Baros been in this tournament?
Do you know, I'm kind of not blaming him specifically, because having watched the Czech Republic a few times now, he doesn't get much help. He really doesn't get much help. He's not got the pace he once had, so they're asking him to play a lone striker on his own. And you know what? He's had very little help, but I'll tell you what, he hasn't actually done a great deal.
I take that point, but this just looks to be a level too high for him now at this stage of his career.
I would agree, yes, I would absolutely agree, but it hasn't been through lack of effort. I kind of thought originally the first game, you're not even putting in the effort, mate. Well, it's not been the case actually. He's putting in the effort, but he's just got no one near him, and he's been usually marred by 2, sometimes 3 men, and he hasn't been good enough to get away from him. Simple as that.
It's a pale shadow of the player that was the top scorer at Euro 2004. Here's a cross into the penalty area by Ronaldo, and it's going to fall on the edge of the box for Veloso, who smashes it into row triple Z. That was even further than one of the Raul Morelos ones from earlier, Pat.
He just had to calm down slightly there. Again, if he catches it right, it takes goalkeeper, net and everything and smashes him. I mean, he has got enough power on it, but there was no need to panic there. He could have taken his time a little bit more, but once again, more opportunities, and it is opening up a little bit just now. But can you see that chance I'm asking for that the Czech Republic have to create? Can you see it? There's only a minute to go. There'll be 3 or 4 minutes. They haven't looked like it for most of the game.
A minute away plus stoppage time from a place in the semi-final, and I think they're big players in this tournament, Portugal. They'll face Spain or France in the last 4, as Pereira comes forward down the right, being tracked by Limberski, and he's fouled in the left back. That's going to be a free kick. João Pereira felt that, rolls around a little bit, then stares at Limberski. I don't think it hurt him as much as he made out, did it?
His first reaction made you think, go and get the ambulance, but I suspect that won't be needed.
Would you agree? Are they serious players in this tournament, Portugal?
Yeah,
I know people are looking at Germany and Spain, but these look a really good side to me.
I wouldn't put them as the favourites in front of anywhere
it wouldn't surprise you though if they won that semi-final, would it?
No, not
even against the Spanish,
not in the slightest.
Who they beat 4-0 in a friendly, and not that long
they're
ago.
a good side, and they'll be up for it. And that when there is, I was going to say no love lost, but that's a bit harsh. But there is a great competitive edge between the Iberian nations, so it would be a great game if it was between those two.
We're into stoppage time. We will get the electronic board to tell us how long. 4 minutes of additional time to play. The Czech Republic have 4 minutes to find a goal from somewhere. Portugal leading 1-0. Ronaldo's header. After 79 minutes, he'd been waging his own personal battle with Petr Cech in the Czech Republic goal, and he finally beat him with a header from a right-wing cross Ronaldo's third goal of the tournament. Portugal have the ball, they can't get it off them. Czech Republic, João Pereira to João Moutinho, and it's all very messy down there, but they've still got the ball, Portugal, and they'll come away with it with Veloso, who then loses it. It's gone out of play, and it'll be a throw to the Czech Republic on the left-hand side, midway inside their own half. A little bit of afters there involving Limberski and Moutinho. Howard Webb quickly in to calm the situation down, and Limberski, the Czech Republic left-back, takes the throw. Hoofed forward by Kadlec, headed away by Custodio, only as far as Sivok, who sends it long through the centre, headed away by Alves, and then headed left by Custodio to Coentrão, who's got lots of space and lots of time to sprint forward over the halfway line down the left, the Real Madrid player, and he's going to take it all the way towards the corner flag and then cross towards Almeida. Almeida challenged inside the area, and in the end Sivok can head it back to Czech, who in all lilac sprints towards the edge of his penalty area and sends a long kick over the halfway line, where it's cleared away by Custodio, and towards the halfway line where it's Placil challenging Moutinho. Ronaldo then gets his foot on the ball, and it's played away to Veloso inside the Czech Republic half, and he moves towards the left and then finds the goal scorer and the captain of Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo, who then gives the ball away. And Juracek with the long hair can bring it forward and finds Pilas on the left. Pilas loves to run at this Portugal defence, and he's going to do just that. Then he tried to stab it out towards the far side, but loses it. Then Almeida's offside, and it'll be a free kick just outside the centre circle in the end when it all settles down to Czech Republic, who have got to get it forward.
It's a real shame there, Pilas there, because he has to get the ball in the middle. Simple as that. You've got three players that are actually getting in there. Barris was in there, Pekart was in there, and our friend Rezek was getting in there as well, but he held on to it slightly too long. I think it's the old one-touch move we're looking for now.
2 minutes for Czech Republic to try and find a goal. Portugal lead 1-0 on 5 Live. Czech with a long free kick into the penalty area, which is headed up into the air by Pekart. And did that flick off a Portugal head? Yes, it did. It's a Czech Republic corner, and Czech with the headgear on is being sent into the penalty area by the coach, Michael Bilek, and he's going to add some extra height and extra danger to Rui Patricio's goal.
How many times do you see one chance falling? At the end of games, you ask for it and you wait for it, and a chance happens. Is this it?
The Czech Republic fans in their red shirts are almost directly behind the corner, which is going to be taken by Jaroslav Placil. Deep ball into the box. It was a terrible corner. It's gone all the way to the left touchline, where Juracek is surrounded by white-shirted Portugal defenders, and they clear.
Petr out.
Petr Cech is out of his goal, and Pereira runs towards the halfway line and loses the ball. And he had options, men over on the left, and then it's smashed out of play by Coentrão, who tries to claim to Howard Webb that he's more hurt than he is. The collision came, and it's going to be a throw-in, I think, on the left.
How bad was
Czech
that?
Republic, in fact, has he given the free kick to Portugal? Howard Webb, I think
he should do, because
corner pat was horrendous.
It was absolutely terrible in that situation when you've got every single player, including your goalkeeper, in the penalty area, and you overhit it, and it almost goes out the penalty area of the far side. It's absolutely dreadful. I know you get a bit excited, but come on.
Petr Cech's got his hands on his knees. He's not run that far for quite some time. So Portugal maintain the lead, but Czech Republic have a throw-in midway inside their own half on the left. By my watch, we've played the 4 minutes of additional time. Paulo Bento has just pointed to his watch. Howard Webb puts the whistle to his mouth, and Portugal, with a goal from Cristiano Ronaldo, are the first team into the semi-finals at Euro 2012. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and thoroughly deserved. I don't think anyone will argue about that. I have to say, Czech Republic, up in my estimations after this game, thought they were awful in the first game. But they've worked hard at it, they've put the effort in, they've got one or two, particularly young players coming through, they'll be very good. But in the end, it comes down to one moment, and that moment was Cristiano Ronaldo. I wouldn't say he was in a pocket of Gabriel Selassie for the whole game, but Gabriel Selassie lost him for 1 second, and that's all it took.
Quite a few of the Czech players are sat down on the pitch here in Warsaw, devastated by the loss. I've just seen Luis Figo embracing people in the director's box. This is probably a more comprehensive win than the scoreline suggests, because it was domination from Portugal in the second half. But let's not take anything away from a plucky Czech Republic team who have overachieved in the competition to reach the quarter-finals. But Portugal march on, their main man Cristiano Ronaldo with his third goal of the tournament, and it's finished here in Warsaw. Mark, Portugal 1, Czech Republic